I love Warhammer 40,000. Warhammer 40K is a incredible hobby, and it is in a lot of ways what I use to relax. I will sit and build models and paint models and have a great time. So sort of like the video that I put out on gaming this year and all the games that I beat and wasn't able to beat, I want to put out a video this year on all of the models that I built, models that I painted, and we're not going to talk about the pile of shame or the gray tide. Yeah, so let's start off with my Blood Angels. Now, my Blood Angels are the only army that I was able to get fully painted this year. I built some of them last year and a lot of them this year, and I have a little over 3,000 points currently built, painted, ready to go, battle ready. The bases are done. This was my first army, and this was the army that I did a lot of my learning with. These paint jobs aren't perfect. There's a lot in here that I wish I knew more about when I started that would make them look a lot better now. Some of the paint's already chipped off, and I'm gonna have to go back and redo some of them. But I'm really, really proud of them. I decided to go with a successor chapter of the Blood Angels, and I decided to call them the Sanguine Revenants. They're remnants of other successor chapters that were destroyed, basically, and only the remnants remained on Baal after the Tyranid invasion of Baal. And I really, really love the darker red with the black pauldron. Again, sorry, you're going to see a lot of mistakes in this army as you look through it, paint job wise, but again, I was learning, and I'm really proud of them. I took what was gray plastic and made a 3,000 point army based, painted, and customized the way I wanted them to be done. Now, there is a Vindicare Assassin in there. There's still some stuff that I want to get. There's still some stuff that I have in the pile of shame that hasn't been built yet. But for the most part, my Blood Angels are finished, and I was really, really excited to show those off to everybody today. I love the Blood Angels, and if not for a different chapter that we're going to talk about in a little bit, Blood Angels were my favorite faction in all of 40K, but a different chapter has taken over that spot this year, and we'll talk about them in just a little bit. But Blood Angels is the first army I really, really enjoyed, and again, I've got to fix some stuff. There's more to put with it. I have an Imperial Knight that I want to run as a free blade. I want to go on my Blood Angels, and I got to get him built and painted up, and I love playing my Blood Angels. I wish Melee was a little bit better in 10th edition, and so I've been playing more with some of these other armies that aren't painted. So this is the last army you're going to see today that is fully painted. Everything from here on is mostly gray, but I'm working on it. I understand. It's the gray tide of shame. I understand, but I'm working on it. Hopefully by 2024, by the end of 2024, we'll have another video, and most of it will be painted. Hopefully. After Blood Angels is Tyranids, and try not to pay too much attention to the Great Jagras and the Baroth that are in the back of the shelf. We'll get back to them in a little while, but the Tyranids, I bought the Combat Patrol last year, and I only really got to building it this year. And then the Leviathan box came out, and I got Tyranids from that because I really wanted the Terminators that were the brand new Terminators for my Blood Angels. And honestly, I was shocked with how much fun not just building Tyranids are, but how much fun playing Tyranids are. The detachments that came with the Codex are really cool, and even the basic detachment that we got with the Index was really, really fun. Swarmlord's a little expensive, and I don't have these painted yet. You're going to see a couple Termagants throughout the video here that are test Termagants as I was trying to come up with colors. There were a bunch more that I had to completely scrub, that I primed and painted and scrubbed because I hated the colors. And ultimately, after playing around with Photoshop, instead of continuing to prime and paint models and then scrub them, I decided to go with the coconut crab style that you'll see towards the end of the video here. I really like that coloration, and I can't wait to get everything else painted in that way. I did wind up picking up the Onslaught Swarm box, and so I'm really excited to get the Norn Emissary painted up and built and painted up in those colors. But I'm really stoked to get into Tyranids more in 2024. I like Tyranids a lot from just a cool factor and from a lot of how they play. I just really want to dig into them more in 2024. Next up is Necrons, and Necrons are an army that I had part of from the Indominus box, which is how I started collecting Warhammer 40k, and a lot of those have collected dust. I didn't play my Necrons up until 10th edition. I didn't touch them in 9th, and I kind of wish I had. I love Necrons in 10th edition. I played around with them a little bit with my first couple games in Horde mode, and honestly, they're a blast. I've been collecting more and more of them ever since, picking up value boxes where I can from eBay, birthday presents and Christmas presents from friends and family, and just building up as much as I can of Necrons because of how much fun I'm having with them. And I really like the color scheme that I've come up with. I think it really makes them pop, and I can't wait to get the rest of them painted. But it's definitely going to be 2024. There's way too much to just start trying to paint it all now. I really, really like them. I'm probably going to wind up playing mostly Necrons in 10th edition right now, because even after the Codex came out and even after the changes there, especially the, huge nerf to the Canoptic Reanimator, I still really love the way they play. Necrons are super cool. I really got into their lore with the Infinite and the Divine, and now I'm looking at like Twice Dead King and trying to get into that. At some point I'm gonna have to get a Catan, but I don't have one yet, and it's not highest thing on the list, so I'm really looking forward to digging into Necrons in 2024. Really looking forward to digging into 2024 too, but Necrons, they're cool. The Immortal Empire is pretty great. The army I'm most excited to build in 2024, though, is my Alpha Legion Chaos Army. I mentioned earlier that with the Blood Angels, there was a faction, a chapter, that had become my new favorite in all of 40k, and it absolutely is the Alpha Legion. Between Legion and Renegades, Harrow Master, there's so much to love about the Alpha Legion. I got the Horus Heresy Age of Darkness box. It was a gift from my wife for my birthday, and I've started putting some of that stuff together. Horus Heresy models are very cool. Also have a lot of details. Take a little while to put together. But between that and the Legionary kill team that we already had, some Death Guard Plague Marines and some Rubric Marines that I already had for kill team, some Chaos Demons that I already had for kill team, there's quite a few options for how I want to play my Chaos Space Marines, my Alpha Legion, and not even counting the fact that I can take the Horus Heresy models and I can proxy them in as CSM. There's a bunch of options there, and I'm really looking forward to getting them built, getting that bright turquoise metal color, and kind of thinking about getting some of the Horus Heresy like Headhunter box, try to mix that in and get some heavy weapon stuff and mix that in. And I've got a ton of plans for what I want to do with my Alpha Legion army moving into 2024 and possibly 2025, depending on how long it's going to take to put them all together. But I saw how cool the Lord Discordant was, and he's not super great in 10th edition, but he's cool. And then I listened to the entirety of Legion, and I was hooked. I had to have them. I love the lore of the Alpha Legion. They're super cool. And Alpha Legion are the best. This is a lie. I've also got into Jeanstealer Cults. Look, this is because of Horde mode, okay? I just needed some Jeanstealer Cults to be able to field in Horde mode. That's all. It definitely wasn't because Jeanstealer Cults are super cool, and the fact that they can come back to the table after they're wiped out is awesome, and I love the way the Abominant looks and the Aberrants, and because Jeanstealer Cults rule, this is definitely not that. It's definitely not because of all the videos from Christian von Carmian or anything, but Jeanstealer Cults seem great, and I've got the Combat Patrol, and I've got a Megos and an Abominant and a Reductus Saboteur, and I'm trying to slowly put that together, and who knows how long that's going to take to paint, but ultimately, man, Jeanstealer Cults rule. Jeanstealer Cults are really great. I don't have any of my Tau built yet, but I also picked up some Tau boxes from a local store that was trying to move a bunch of their stuff and was selling them at cheap, and so 2024 there'll also be some Tau stuff on the shelf to use in Horde mode. It's all for Horde mode, guys. It's just for Horde mode. I don't need 7 armies. I also have these minis that were given to me by my brother that are major minis. I don't yet know what I'm going to use them for. Originally I thought about trying to supplement as like Sangard and paint them up that way. but I have some actual Sangard on the way now, so I'm not really sure what I want to try and use them as, but I feel like if I just hold on to them for now, I'll find a use for them eventually. They're cool sculpts, and I kind of like them. My favorite painting project that I took on this year, though they're not based yet, were my Eldar Corsairs kill team, my Void Scarred Corsairs, and I painted them up in the style of Captain Harlock from Captain Harlock. They have his colors, and although there were definitely some mistakes made here and there, I'd never painted Eldar before, and they have a lot of details. I'm really, really happy with how they turned out. I love my Eldar Corsairs, and if I was at all interested in Eldar, GW, please release Exodites. Please, I beg you. I would 100% be going with Corsairs. That's the way I would play them. But for now, I'm just going to settle with how cool these Corsairs look and maybe bring them in as an opponent for the Horde at some point. And then lastly, I painted up 2 of my Monster Hunter World, the board game minis. I don't have the rest of them painted yet, but I painted up the Great Jagras and the Baroth, and my Baroth unfortunately lost a toe in shipping. But I love the way these look. I love the way they turned out. They were an absolute blast to paint, and I really want to get at least 2 more of them painted this year, though realistically I'd love to get them all painted, but I also know that I have so much other stuff to paint, and so that stuff is probably going to take priority since I can play that on the board with my play group. But ultimately, I'd love to get those painted as well. I'm stoked for 2024, and I'd love for you to tell me what you've been building and what you've been painting. This is a wonderful hobby, and as much as I wish that I could get stuff painted faster with all the other stuff that I have going on, I'm pretty proud of myself that I got all of my Blood Angels painted. I need to get my Tyranids and my Necrons painted next, and Necrons are probably the one that I'm gonna do next. They're a little bit easier to paint, they're a lot of fun to paint, and I only have 2,000 points of them right now. If GW puts out another like value box of some kind, I don't know that I'll be able to resist, but for now, just have 2,000 points of them, so that will be a little bit easier to paint than like all of the various Chaos stuff, because some of those Chaos kill teams aren't even painted yet. But who plays Compendium kill teams now anyway, right? So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What stuff are you excited to paint? What stuff are you excited to build? What armies did you start this year, and what armies are you looking at starting next year? I love this hobby, and I can never get enough of talking about it, so let me know how you feel. And until next time, until next year, I've been Trey. This has been the Full Spectrum. Remember to always enjoy the full spectrum. Warhammer 40K has to offer.